Here is the 2024 Honda Ridgeline TrailSport in lunar silver over black leather interior. Standard all-wheel drive, but we're not getting any increase in clearance. 5,000 pounds of towing, and this year we get a new black edition. I'm Anthony from Hawkeye Rides, and I'm going to go over the pros and cons, the problem that I have with the Ridgeline and comparable rivals. With the TrailSport, we do not increase in ground clearance. We're getting 7.64, which is standard on all boards. No skid plate, it's just going to be aesthetic. The front grille has been reworked, and you can reconfigure it as the TrailSport gets its own unique grille. You could do the HPD package, which will get a 80s vibe style grille with the gloss black that's going to run into the LED daytime runnings. LED headlights starts on this trim and LED fog lights with front and rear parking sensors because of the TrailSport. And no need to worry which box you tick when you're thinking about powertrain, because all of them will get the 3.5 liter V6 producing 280 horsepower and 262 pound-feet of torque paired to a 9-speed automatic transmission, achieving 18 mpgs for the city, 23 mpgs for the highway. What I like about the Ridgeline is you're still able to conquer a day in and day out work. This is not a work truck by any means, so when you're thinking Tacoma, well, now they have a new turbocharged variant and hybrid variant as well. Do have better capabilities for off-road, whereas this one's going to be more for on-road and everyday use. And all Ridgelines will option an 18-inch wheel. Here we're getting the gray 5-spoke with the all-terrain tires, TrailSport badging. You can option the HPD package like we were saying at the front. That's going to flare out the fenders. It's going to give a little bit more of an off-roadsy look, and you can also put the decal on the back of the tailgate. All vehicles are going to come with the IVTM4 all-wheel drive system, which is an intelligent variable traction management which sends torque to different wheels to keep the vehicle planted on the road. Because it's all-wheel drive, 5,000 pounds of towing is ticked. So when you're thinking the rivals like Toyota, Ford, Nissan, GMC, or Chevy, they're actually going to tow more than this, and the payload when you go into the TrailSport is not going to be the best. Even going into the black edition, that's actually going to be the least in class for the Ridgeline. Here you want to tick the Sport, which will increase that to 1,583 pounds and giving a better weight distribution at 57.1, 42.9. But let's face it, we're not going to be taking corners or bends in the road with this. We're not looking at a 0 to 60 or a top out speed. We're looking for something that we can use. The problem that I have right off the bat though is the TrailSport, the name itself. It's meant to be off-roadsy, yet this doesn't do nothing but a style aesthetics, and it puts it in a trim level. Why not just do like the HPD package? Give us two different variants. And this year we now get the Ridgeline badged across the tailgate, standard LED tail lights. The lower gets the dual exhaust outlets, which was implemented a couple of years ago, which transformed this vehicle because it made it look from kind of like a settle vehicle to something that has some performance. But when you're thinking about rival perspective, this is going to slot underneath them for most of the capabilities. This is just something to get your feet wet with the truck, unibody construction, so it's not necessarily built for off-roading capabilities. Even though we have an off-road suspension with this trim, it's still not going to be able to tackle things like rock crawling. We don't even have an option for that. There isn't any soft to open, and it goes into 60 inches long. Between the wheel well housing at 51 inches, a width of 50 inches, giving us a total of 33.9 cubic feet with a payload at 1,521 pounds, which is not going to be the best. That goes to the Sport, which is at 1,583. Open here, like a car, and now you're going to have an additional 7.3 cubic feet of storage. You can also open this up so you can drain it out with the spare tire configuration. With a storage cubby. And we have the bed liner. 10-way power seat adjustment for the driver, 4-way power seat adjustment for the passenger, leather wrapped seats with the TrailSport badging, contrast stitch. Ventilated seats is now on the black edition, memory for the driver. Headroom and leg room. The interior has been reconfigured, And because we have a black edition, that's going to change the layout to the interior as well, because we can no longer get the 540 watts for the sound system on the TrailSport. 8-inch infotainment is going to be standard, and they got this little tray that they have implemented. Navigation starts on this trim. Wireless Apple CarPlay, wireless Android Auto is standard on all trims. Does have a little bit of lag. HD radio is only on the new black edition. Sirius XM will be on this trim. Put it into reverse, and we get a reverse camera with trajectory. It expands out, and you can change different camera layouts to make it a little bit easier for your maneuverability. Tri-climate control settings is standard, and the black edition now options ventilated seats. 2 USB ports with a 12-volt. Wireless charging pad is standard. You got a his and her type of layout, and the key fob for the Ridgeline TrailSport. The center cluster has been redone, so this is out of the Pilot. It also is in the Passport, so you're going to have the same storage capabilities. It's a little bit more sporty. The orange stitch and the ambient lighting will also be in orange, whereas the ambient lighting will be in red when you go into the black edition. Leather wrap steering wheel, multi-function. It is heated with the paddle shifts. The gauge cluster can go through an array of information for the driver. I like that they have changed the configuration for this, so it's a little bit more up to date. Auto dimming rear view mirror with a moon roof. And the door panel on the dashboard configuring together. You get the blind spot monitoring right here. It's a large grab handle area, one touch up and down for the front windows. It's going to be a little bit more sporty. 2 tiers of storage. And the back window you can open and you can close it right here next to the moonroof adjustments. For the back seats, you can lift it up at a 60-40 split. You do have a little divider because of the rails, but it's more or less a flat floor. Not too much entrance issues because of clearance. Leg space is going to be one of the best in class with air vents in the rear. You get a 12-volt. The center has a storage with armrest and another little storage cubby. Head is going to be a little bit less. It's only better than the Nissan Frontier in the Colorado. As for the door, the grab handle area, you can kind of fit your cell phone here or here. It's not so wide. You do have one cup or bottle holder, no storage on the lower. Sliding into the center, the floor is more or less flat like we said, but because of this rail, kind of pushes you forward, but the rails are fine there. But leg and shoulder space is not really going to be an issue because of the width. Headroom becomes a little compromised because it's only carved out for the side occupants. 280 horsepower, 262 pound-feet of torque, over 7.5 inches of clearance, 5,000 pounds of towing. It's not bad. It's something that's going to take care of you for the everyday workload. This is not a full-size truck, it's a unibody construction, so you're not going to really expect to do rock crawling with this. Because it is a TrailSport, I would like to see increasing clearance similar to the Pilot. Maybe even adding a skid plate to the front. You can option a skid plate through the dealership, but it's not really going to do much justice because you haven't done anything but give you an off-road suspension, but there isn't any increase in height. Giving us 18-inch wheels with all-terrain tires, I like that. You got the off-roadsy look, but yet again, there's no crawl control. You don't have the capabilities to do these things. So is it a bit of an overkill? It's kind of more of a styling element. I personally would say you should be fine if you option the HPD package and you put it onto one of the variants. However, if you want features, you kind of have to go this route because otherwise you're going to the RTL and you're not going to be getting the navigation. You're going to get the same sound system because now the new Black Edition gets the 540 watt sound system, and they also have finally implemented ventilated seats and heated rear seats when you go to that tier. So I like that we've got some of these features. The reworked center cluster is definitely something that's needed. Now let's see what that performance looks like underneath the hood. It's more of a settled drive, but you will hear some road noise because of the all-terrain tires. Maneuverability isn't too much of an issue. The steering wheel is pretty light. It's not going to be as light as some of the rivals, but it's not going to be as heavy as somebody like the Nissan Frontier. The windows are large, and on the exterior, it still kind of sports that 80s vibe on different profile angles. It's going to take me to some pros and cons. Starting off with the pros is you're getting a V6 engine. The styling elements, they have nailed it, because now instead of optioning the HPD package, just go up a tier, you're going to get more amenities in the interior, and it's going to have that off-roadsy appearance. Back seat is pretty decent for leg space, plus you have more or less a flat floor with a little bit of a tray, so it kind of divides, and you have an extra 7-ish cubic feet of storage in the bed. So when I'm thinking the Hyundai Santa Cruz, this is going to have a little bit more capabilities, especially in the interior. It's not going to feel as claustrophobic. So if you're thinking, I kind of want a truck, but that's too small, you step it up to this. Some cons: no digital rear view mirror. The 8-inch infotainment screen is still pivoted forward towards the windscreen, which means it will get some glare from the gloss black. The steering wheel is still not the new steering wheel design that's found in the Pilot. The gauge cluster is good. I do like that they have finally changed that, but because we now have a black edition, we are losing the upgraded sound system. We're gaining the ventilated and heated rear seats. However, I would like to see that in the Trail Sport. Braking on the vehicle doesn't feel heavy, and it doesn't have like any pickup to it. As for turn radius, it's long. I would say it's about 2 and a part lane. Let's rock and roll. The V6 engine screams, and when we're thinking about comparable rivals like the new Toyota, we now have a turbocharged and a hybrid variant. It feels a little bit more plastic in the front. Plus, you can option a 14-inch screen. It's like a TV put inside the center. I'm not saying that I don't like a bigger screen, but when it's 14-inch and it kind of comes out of the dashboard, it's a little bit of an overkill. The Nissan Frontier is going to be the most sealed up, and I do like the configuration of the new Ford Ranger. The screen layout is large, but because it's more of a vertical layout, it fits the center cluster. I'm not a huge fan that we still actually have to use a key to engage the vehicle. I like the push button start. The seat positioning here feels like you're sitting higher, because I feel like I'm kind of over the hood and I'm over the door panels, which sits similar to the Passport. So if you're thinking, maybe I don't want a truck, the Passport will have the same feel and the same cushion to this. It's going to ride smooth in the sense because of the unibody construction and because of the powertrain being sourced out of the Odyssey and more or less the whole layout. You can also configure a 4x8 foot plywood in the cargo bed. So I like how versatile it is, and yet you're still kind of getting your feet wet. You're not going full-blown pickup truck in the sense that I'm going to go off-road and do all those crazy maneuvers, but it's something that can be daily driven. The problem, though, is when you do a light refresh like they have done, it's really just a few touch-ups on aesthetics, and I would like to see maybe some increase in power similar to the Pilot, maybe give us the larger screen similar to the Accord. Don't take away the V6, make it a little bit more usable. Give us a little bit more payload. When we go to the Trail Sport, make it something that can be more for the off-road. But let me know your thoughts in the comments, and if you're new to the channel, consider subscribing. Check out the next video, merchandise, website, and Instagram. Leave a comment and a like, and I'd like to thank Ocean Honda for giving us this 2024 Honda Ridgeline TrailSport for our car review.